I'm honored to welcome our next guest, Professor Dharam P.S. Bhawuk. He is Professor of Management and Culture and Community Psychology, University of Hawaii at Manaus, USA. His research interests include indigenous psychology and management and cross-cultural training. He has published more than 110 papers in books chapters and made over 250 presentations internationally. He is a founding fellow of International Academy of Intercultural Research, fellow of Indian Academy of Management, foreign fellow of National Academy of Psychology, India, and was Ed Smith Richardson's junior visiting fellow, Center for Creative Leadership, Greensboro, North California, since 2009 to 2010, and he is the recipient of many awards. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Professor Dharam P.S. Bhawuk.
Namaste. Am I audible? Am I visible, audible?
Yes, you are visible. Yes, you are visible and audible both.
Okay, good. Thank you. Am I starting now?
Please do. Please do.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. The topic given to me is Tapas, diligence is the seed to divine. I have written a paper analyzing what is tapas by using the 36 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, and in this presentation I'm going to present the summary of that and also connect it with the topic diligence is the seed to divine. So basically it's kind of a new definition, but I will build that on the definition that comes from the Bhagavad Gita. 9 themes emerge when I analyze the 36 verses. So the first theme that emerged is that tapas is a Daivik Sampada. There are 26 Daivik Sampadas that are listed in the 16th canto of the Bhagavad Gita. Abhayam Sattva Samsuddhi Jnana Yoga Vivasthiti Danang Damang Cha Yangyascha Swadhyayas Tapa Arjavam. So tapas comes in the very first slok when 9 or 11 of the Daivik Sampadas are listed. What it tells us is that tapas is a virtue. It's a positive quality. So virtue is actually higher than a quality or a positive quality, and it is to be cultivated. The second theme that emerges is that tapas can be sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. So we might have heard this word sushk tapasi or tapasvi. One who does tapas but kind of does not have a good understanding of how to interact in the world. Think of sadism, hurting your physical self and your mind. So that would be considered tamasic tapas. Whereas sattvic tapas is basically serving others, doing lok sangrah, and we'll get more of it as we look into the third theme that emerges about tapas. So tapas needs to be cultivated at 3 levels, in the level of the mind, in the level of the vachan or speech, and at the level of the physical body or action. So we need to practice tapas at all 3 levels. And then Sri Krishna says very emphatically that tapas, yajna, dan and karma are not to be given up. And so And these three are also related to Shraddha. So if our Shraddha is sattvic, then our tapas becomes sattvic. If our Shraddha is tamasic, our tapas becomes tamasic. In the 10th canto, Sri Krishna says that he himself is tapas personified. So that should tell us how important this virtue is. So if we are cultivating tapas, we are becoming one with Sri Krishna. Tapas is also presented as a type of yajna in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And tapas is also presented as the necessary condition, but Shraddha is necessary. So without Shraddha, if we only have tapas, then our sadhana is not successful. And in the 18th canto of the Bhagavad Gita, tapas is also presented as a quality of Brahmana. And what that would mean in our time today is anybody who wants to lead others by being exemplars must cultivate tapas. And there are 9 verses where Arjuna is referred to as Parantapa. And so Arjuna is a Paramatapasvi, an exemplar of tapasya. And we know the stories in Arjuna's life that tells us that he was a great tapasvi. He did tapas to obtain Pashupatashra from Lord Shiva himself. So there is no doubt about his being an exemplar of tapas. So 2 ideas kind of emerge out of it. Restraining of the senses is part of tapas, and then cultivation of practices that leads us into inward journey is tapas. So we can see that diligence is embedded in both abhyas and vairagya. So Arjuna in the 6th chapter pleads to Sri Krishna and says, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balavadridham tasyahang nigraham manne vayoriva sudushkaram. Hey Krishna, the manas is chanchal. It is pramathi, it churns you around. It is strong. It is dridha. It is impossible to control it. It's like controlling the wind. And since we have now started channeling the energy of wind by using wind turbines, we can see what Sri Krishna says in response is how meaningful. Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigrahang chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. So indeed, Hey Mahabaho, O great Arjuna, it is difficult to control the manas. But through abhyas and through vairagya, we can control it. So the restraining of all the senses is part of tapas.
Your voice is not coming, Professor Bhawuk. We can't listen to you. Yes, you're not audible. It is still not audible.
Can you hear now?
No, it is clear. Thank you.
Oh,
Now we can listen to you.
okay. So sorry for the technological glitch. So I was saying the ability to delay gratification, which some of you will recall as emotional intelligence, is basically about tyag of desire, kama, and also the tyag of mamatva. This is all, or all our possessions. And both these require cultivation in action, speech, and thought. So tapas therefore is diligence. Abhyas is diligence. And through that diligence, we are able to cultivate basically anything. So if you think about a mother, a mother does tyag, and that's how she supports the children and the family. So, waking up, getting up before everybody and preparing the home for everybody, that is all part of tapas and part of tyag. So she's giving up her, desire to sleep longer. We also see tapas in sports arena very clearly. The sports people have to do the abhyas and they have to have vairagya. So those of you who saw the movie Dangal, you would recall how the father tells the daughters that eat pickles as much as you like today, because from tomorrow you will not get it. So that is tapas, restraining yourself for being successful. And so through this diligence, abhyas and vairagya, of course we know that we can not only achieve the prayas in the material world, but also the shreyas in the life beyond this world. So these 9 themes basically direct us to delayed gratification. Tapas is basically the tyag of desire and mamatva, and it needs to be cultivated both in 3 areas: action, speech, and thought. And through that, we can approach the divine. And so the divine here for the theme of the conference is this practice then can lead us to become one with ourself, with our Atman. So I will stop there.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Bhawuk, for providing us a comprehensive view of tapas and Bhagavad Gita's approach towards it. Your insight is certainly very useful for all the sadhakas, including me. Thank you very much for blessing us in this event. Thank you. Regards.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Professor Dharam P.S. Bhawuk for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness and sharing his views. Thank you so much.